If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With the all-new Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from good to excellent. Introducing the new Sleep Score on Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, Randy Orton and the Platonics. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you don't know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events, unrelated outcomes, may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler. I am just trying to make a living and doing the best I can. You know that is true. I am a simple guy. I really am.
Lyrics, dude. Recite him some lyrics.
Fair enough, absolutely. We always do that, so let's do that. I hear voices in my head. They counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. They tell me things that I will do. They show me things I'll explain to you. They talk to me. That is very literally true. It is a wonderful thing, and I will explain why in just a few moments. I will get to that fairly quickly. Welcome to episode 140 of our Casino Combat podcast. I do appreciate the gift of your time. I certainly do. It's nice of you to spend some time with me today. Let's get right into it. Let's get started. Every episode, I like to start with a little something I call the battle plan. The list of segments that I'm planning on sharing with you this episode. After some squad news, we will start with a moment of casino wisdom. We will do that segment, and I'm going to introduce you to a new wisdom that I think you need to use each and every time you go to the casino, maybe multiple times per casino visit, depending on how long you are going to be there. We've been having some conversations in the Slack-enabled virtual VIP lounge about planning and goals, about situational winning and what that looks like. I just want to try to put some language and creative around those conversations in the hopes of giving everyone a tool. The voices in my head that talk to me, they understand, that show me things I'll explain to you. That's the Slack Virtual VIP Lounge. And if you would like to join us, we would love to have you join us. We would love to have more smart, creative, clever gamblers feeding each other ideas, talking about things, answering questions, leveling us up, and helping us level other people up. That is what we are about. But we are a secret society operating in the public of gambling philosophers, and that means you gotta jump through a couple hoops if you're gonna come hang out. You gotta put in effort. We are an effort-based system. So, if you would like to join us, and we would love to have you join us, you first have to listen to clues in the various episodes, and the older episodes are gonna be your more fertile ground there. Figure out where my home casino, Casino 2, is in real life. You get 3 attempts at that. If you think you have it figured out, you email it to me, trg@casinocombat.com. You spell combat with a K, not a C, because it was cheaper that way. That's step 1. Once I've confirmed to you that you gathered that intelligence correctly, then it is time for you to go figure out in the real world how to message, email, direct message, some way, reach out to Same Bet, Nakatomi Tony, or Equine Ensign and tell them that as a member of the Excelsior Brigade, you would like to be invited to join us in the virtual VIP lounge, and we will get you set up and welcome you very quickly into those elite ranks where you can join those voices in my head, and I'll be happy to be a voice in yours, talking about all things related to being better at the game of casino gambling. Going to be a great casino wisdom segment. Going to be a great moment of casino wisdom today. After that, I'm going to do a travel segment. It's true.
It's astounding. Time is fleeting.
We're sending you back to the future.
Let's be really honest. The Casino Combat timeline is a bit of a mess. Things are a bit scattered. We are a bit like Bill and Ted stranded in the Old West trying to put together our phone booth with some bubble gum and some baling wire. If you are somewhat confused about where we are, that is understandable. We just jumped from the end of June to the end of July and the first part of August. We're going to consider it everything up through our annual anniversary trip to Atlantic City as one quote month. We are going to do a travel segment. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of results just briefly so that you have some transparency around success and failure. And then I'm going to share some thoughts from the trip itself, from my time spent, actually from our time spent together as a squad. You know, we had mixed combinations of us together. You know, sometimes it was all 5 of us. Sometimes it was Nakatomi Tony having lunch with Atlantic City Empress, the ace of Casino Combat, and East Coast Emissary PhD. Sometimes it was Mrs. TRG and I hanging out with Nakatomi Tony and having some White House subs and playing some crap. So it's a really good trip. We're going to talk through that. We're going to finish up after that in the virtual VIP lounge with some sips and a bit of a bar side confession on my part. All right, that is the battle plan. We've got a bunch of stuff that's been going on with the squad in the Casino Combat Galaxy. A couple squad mates went on comped cruises. In fact, as I was prepping this episode, Equine Ensign was finishing his second comped cruise of the summer. He updated us yesterday on day 6 of his cruise and said he had already earned enough points for his next comped cruise, and he was up many days' pay as well. A comped cruise with a profit doing casino combat. That is a casino-enhanced lifestyle. Imagine going on a cruise that is comp. If you're listening for the first time, imagine that. See that in your head. You get on a comped cruise. That means that most of the cruise did not cost you anything. Yeah, you got a little Wi-Fi maybe. Yeah, maybe you do a drink package. Maybe you do an excursion. But the majority of the cost of the cruise was complimentary. And while you're there, you do things you learned about in a podcast, and you walk off the boat with another comped cruise to select of your choice in the future and additional money in your pocket to pay those expenses. That is what this podcast is all about. Using knowledge and skill to win the game of casino gambling and live a casino lifestyle. And actually, I realized recently that maybe a casino-enhanced lifestyle is a more accurate description of what I am trying to help everyone learn and do. One last item from the Casino Combat Galaxy as we are rotating through the TRG verse. I got a great note from a friend of mine, Yellow Belt Gambler, after he listened to episode 138, and he said, "Good morning, TRG. I had been debating about sending this email, but your most recent podcast meshed too perfectly with a recent event to not send this. A few weeks ago, I was traveling on business and met with some of the vendors we use in the area. One was telling me about a recent trip to a casino with his wife. He explained their version of winning was how long they could last before they lost all their money. That's it. They were certain upon entering that they would lose, so their measure of success was how long they would take to achieve that loss." And then he says, "Tangent warning. Look, I've done similar things on occasion. If my wife and I can have a nice night out, last several hours, and it only costs us $20, expenses included, we do rationalize it as a win. Because for comparison's sake, $20 is a trip to Wendy's and not really as much fun. That's barely a trip to Wendy's. But he continues. But this gentleman was talking about hundreds of dollars and doing so regularly. I asked if they listened to podcasts, and they did. I told him about Casino Combat. He was immediately skeptical. Those methods don't work. We've read the books. Casinos weren't built on winners. All the usual lines. I explained the core concepts, thinking my 2-minute explanation of the concepts was too broad. I focused on the benefits of having a player's card, explaining the offset for losses. This usually works quite well. Nope, didn't want to do that either. I had built a trough, filled it with water, walked him over to it, but this horsey didn't want to drink. My internal dialogue sounded like this. Well, sir, thank you for donating to our side hustle. I appreciate you transferring your losses to our game. I think as a final gesture, I will text him the link to episode 30. July 30th episode. I read that wrong. Perhaps we'll hear what he sounds like from an outside perspective. Thanks for all you do, the Yellow Belt Gambler. I really appreciate. Thank you for translating your losses to our gains. I really love that. That is so true. A gallant effort by Yellow Belt Gambler to help a fellow traveler who just didn't want to walk the path with us. It's sad that it ended that way. Not much else he could have done, and he is right. We do need them losing so that we can win. The other uncomfortable and accurate truth here is that the dominant societal belief is that winning isn't an option. Claims that perhaps this isn't the case usually get met with derision and or snark. It's a brilliant job of marketing by the casinos. Perhaps it's an unexpected outcome of their efforts to make sure that they have a problem player protection program. Boy, say that 5 times fast. Players believe they cannot win. So at some level, they're not even trying. Keep up the good fight, Yellow Belt Gambler. Thanks for checking in. It's always great to hear from you. All right, Guardian the Jet have not checked in. Just one more thing before we get started. We started the new podcast year last episode, and I have dispensed with the idea of defining every system or downloadable piece of material. We're going to try doing that, and so as a result, going forward, we are going to just have 2 rules, one more important than the other. The first and the lesser of importance, but the more philosophically interesting is this, and we will have a conversation about this, I am sure, at some point. As it hurts no other player, do as you will is the whole of the law. Not quite as important as this one, but important. We don't want to do something that's going to jeopardize other players. The other one is this. If you are new, and if I don't explain something, if you hear something you don't know, if you don't know, ask, please. No one wants you to not have the answer to a question. Casino Combat Galaxy is a big place full of interesting people and interesting ideas. If a system name or a wisdom isn't familiar to you, ask. Ask Google. Check the online resources, the CasinoCombat.com website, the Facebook group, the Casino Combat Squad. If you look for combat spelled with a K online, you are generally either going to find us or some video game no one has ever heard of. And of course, you can email me, trg@CasinoCombat.com. I'll be happy to clarify anything I can for you at any time. All right, let's get started with a moment of casino wisdom. Casino wisdoms provide an action to be taken in specific situations based on knowledge about how casinos work and about how players behave when in casinos. It's experience, observation, and knowledge turned into a recommendation of an action to be taken in specific situations. And today I wanted to talk about Casino Wisdom number 38, a brand new casino wisdom, and one that I created kind of to encapsulate, give us that mental reminder of an important skill, and it's a skill that came through something that we were talking about in the virtual VIP lounge. Same Bet shared some observations, some other people kicked in ideas, and so that led me to create this casino wisdom, and that's this. Casino Wisdom 38 says, state the mission, pick a strategy, execute the strategy, and evaluate. And the idea here is that if you casino on a regular basis, if you go to casinos often, you will find that you go for different reasons. Sometimes you're going for date night. Sometimes you're going to make money. Sometimes you're really basically on a vacation. Sometimes you're on a cruise and you want to get another cruise. Sometimes you're trying to, therefore you're sometimes trying to get tier points, even if you're not on a cruise. The purpose of being in the casino may be to get tier points, not necessarily to win money. You may simply be going to get a gift, meet a friend, have a beverage, share a meal, have a conversation, and play some free slot play. You could be doing any number of things, and we have touched on this idea in the past. If you go to the website, casinocombat.com, you will find in the Fred section a casino action plan that we have created and laid out, which is essentially stating the mission, writing down and selecting a strategy, and then after you've executed the strategy to the best of your ability, evaluate. See how you did. But the idea here is that by doing this, you're defining what a win looks like. And wins are very different depending on what the mission is. If the mission is meet my friend, have a drink, have a meal, get free slot play, a win is doing that and not getting involved in anything else. Not sitting there and going, well, I know I said that I was going to not play, that I was just going to play my free slot play, meet my friend. But that's the bear, right? That from the Padawan parables, that's the bear. In that case, that's getting off mission. The mission was to do X, Y, Z, play a little free slot play. That's a strategy. That is very much a strategy. It's from the Slot Tactics book. That's go in, use TRG slot strategy number 1, and take the money and leave. That's the mission. You've selected a strategy, and then you have to go execute the strategy and evaluate. And if you get to the evaluation step and you did any other gambling, then you didn't complete the mission. Date night might be, we're just going to go and have fun with this money. And I know I'm not doing casino combat, but we're just going to go and have fun. We could have gone to the theater. We could have gone to we could have gone and played mini golf. We could have done any number of things. We decided that we were going to go to the casino, and I'm not going to worry about points. I'm not going to worry about making money. I'm not going to worry about being perfect in my play. I'm going to play some carnival games that I know have a high house advantage. If that's the mission, you've then selected the strategy, and you've executed the strategy. If you don't fall into some type of trap of, I know I said I was going to do that, but I've lost half the money and it's just bugging me. Even though I've had 3 beers, I'm going to go do TRG 4 and on blackjack, and I'm going to win my money. That wasn't the strategy. That wasn't the mission. You fell out of that. A win is going to be different depending on what it is that you are trying to accomplish. And then sometimes you're going to accomplish the mission and you're going to complete the mission and you're not going to have accomplished the mission and it's not going to have been your fault. Let me give you an excellent example of that. We just got back from Atlantic City. I'm going to tell you more about it in just a few minutes, but we just got back from Atlantic City and the entrance was less than a storybook entrance. Not in a major way, but it was. Like, what would you like? You'd like to get on the airplane, get in the air, have a cocktail, land on the ground, walk out, get on the charter bus, and 30 minutes later, walk in as you enter the transportation center at the Tropicana, stand in line for a few minutes, give them your ID and player's card, and get the keys to your room, and go upstairs and put your few things down that you had as carry-on items, freshen up a little bit, and then start whatever it is your mission in the casino is going to be. In this case, we had to define the mission based on circumstances beyond our control. When we arrived at the casino, when we arrived at the Tropicana, the staff member that greeted us informed us that it was 11 o'clock and our rooms would not be ready till 1. We got 2 hours. We got some bags and possessions that we're dragging around that we would prefer not to be dragging around. But that is what we've been dealt with. So we stopped for a minute, we chatted for a minute, and we said, all right, well, let's go play some blackjack. Hopefully 1 buy-in, will let us play and win a little money and record some small wins and just hang out for a couple hours and drink a couple water. Grab a couple waters, enjoy a couple waters, get hydrated, and then get checked into our room. Sounds like a good plan, right? That's a good mission. And we've got a good strategy. We're going to do TRG4 with a 10-unit buy-in. That's a good strategy, and we just have to go execute, and we have a lot of experience executing. So we have a mission. The mission is get through 2 hours playing blackjack, hopefully win a little, but at least come out no worse for wear. That's the mission. That's what we'd like to do. Use 2 hours, ideally win, just not lose. That's fine. So we go and get our free bets. We go and get our direct bets, whatever Caesars happens to be calling them right now. But we go get our stuff out of the kiosk that lets us put a little money on the table. And my first bet is one of their bets, and I get to double it, and I win it. And that was the last bet that either of us won at that table in any way, shape, or form. We had a couple pushes. We both had a couple doubles that went badly. We both lost right straight out. 8 units, done. Couldn't have been more than 15 minutes. Had to wait for the first water to show up. So we evaluated. One horrible way to start things off. Horrible way to start off the trip. Yeah, just boom, done. Might as well just lit the money on fire. But we'd executed. The mission was play one buy-in. That was the mission. Not going to rebuy. Not going to do any of that. So the mission was play one buy-in. Hopefully it stretches out till we can get the room keys. We've now got an hour and 45 minutes till we can get the room keys and really get freshened up and dressed the way we'd like to be dressed and ready to go out and do the things that I'm going to tell you all about here in a few minutes. So we evaluated and we were angry, but we had executed. And we continued to execute because we did not rebuy. We walked around. We checked out what slot machines had changed since the last time we were there. We looked for situations where there might be new machines we would enjoy. And then we said, I think I would like to get another water and a cocktail. And we can do that by going to Chicky and Pete's, where we would pay for our cocktails, or we could do that by going into the 10 North Video Poker Bar, where they would comp us our cocktails and give us some waters, and we could play a little video poker. And here the mission was have one, at most 2 drinks, kill as much of the remaining now hour and a half as possible before we can get our keys, and not lose more than the cost of the beverages at Chicky and Pete's while earning tier credit. That's kind of a complicated mission. It is. It is kind of a complicated mission, but it's also a doable mission. And you see the trade-off. You see what a win here is. A win here is not we each won money playing video poker. The mission, kill time, get water, get cocktail, then has a strategy. We're going to not pay cash. We're going to play video poker and get comped. And we are going to try to not lose. We're going to try to win. We're going to try to not lose more than the drinks would have cost at Chicky and Pete's. We got done. We evaluated. We had tremendous success. We had spent the cost of 1 drink and 1 tip at Chicky and Pete's by losing. Well, spent and lost because we tipped in cash. We had spent and lost the value of 1 drink at Chicky and Pete's with tip. We had had 4 drinks, 2 each, and tipped on both rounds. We had each had 2 cocktails. We had tipped appropriately for that, and we had lost and spent about the cost of 1 drink. So, mission success. Mission accomplished. The idea here is to realize that you are going to casino for a variety of different ways, at a variety of different times. We have given you a variety of tools and toys that you can use to devise a strategy before you go. Casinos are loud. They are noisy. They are designed to confuse. They are designed to pull you in and keep you there. They are designed to get you making things up as you go. Casino combat is not about any of it. I thought it was really interesting. Same Bet actually went as far as to lay out a chart of what his different missions might be, distinguishing between and what a win looked like in those situations. I don't think that's one size fits all. And I don't think everybody wants to sit down and lay it out as meticulously and intellectually as Same Bet does. But you can apply the ideas of Casino wisdom number 38 in almost all situations in a casino. Take a minute, even if you're not going to write it down. Figure out what the mission is. State the mission. Pick the strategy. Execute the strategy, and then evaluate and see what the result were. Brilliant bit of thinking, a big benefit of having the Casino Combat Virtual VIP Lounge members available. And the next thing you and I are going to do is have a conversation about some travel Mrs. TRG and I did recently and the results we got for the month. July was a choppy month. I'd have a losing day, which was a significant loss, and then I'd start to build it back up, and then I'd have a small losing day, and I'd start to build it up. A lot of back and forth. A mix of winning and losing day. And basically, we were just up a little bit as we left to go to Atlantic City for our second trip of the summer. And after that initial losing attempt, which I just told you about, that first moment, that first mission gone badly, Mrs. TRG didn't have another losing table the rest of our trip. And I only had one more losing table the very last night. So we had a profit after expenses for the month of July 2024. And let me make sure that you're doing your due diligence, that you have answers about outcomes so that you know if you're listening to someone who can do what he claims or not, at least to the extent that you can trust anyone on the internet. I recognize that. We have a profit after expenses for the month of July 2024. 9 days pay in cash after expenses. We won money playing blackjack. We won money playing craps. We won money in total on the slot pros, as we often do each month, losing some money in cash, but winning more cash with the free play generated by the play with cash than we lost playing with cash. Comps were good. We had a flight hotel combination comp. We had a comp stay at the MGM property 2.5 hours west and north of our home. Some big match bets at Ocean and decent free bets at Tropicana. And those generated several days pay in free money to gamble with. I'm not putting my money on the table and I have a chance to win or lose money. In many ways, that's the same as them giving me cash to gamble with. We finished the month with the total value into our lives. When you total everything up, all the money won, the money lost, the comps and gifts received, when you wrap it all up, we finished the month with a total value into our lives from living a casino enhanced lifestyle of just a bit over 18 days pay. If we were doing it in $1 a day scale, it would be $18.22. A solid winning casino combat. All right, results delivered. Due diligence done. I wanted to really talk just for several minutes here about the AC travel part of our month once again this episode, and I am not trying to brag. This is not a big deal in the big picture. There are plenty of people that would have been, a private jet would have been sent and a limo would have been waiting and at their disposal the whole times. Lavish meals at Hell's Kitchen would have been comped, show tickets to see Hook would have been provided, etc., etc., etc. That's what a high roller gets. That's not what we're getting. That's not what I'm trying to tell you we're getting. I'm trying to simply always show you what is possible if you are good at what we do here. That is what I am trying to do. I am not trying to brag or convince you that in any way I am a big deal. However, this is our second charter trip of the summer, and once again we stayed at Tropicana. Great property, great location, lots of restaurant choices. Lots of restaurant choices at a lot of different prices. And after that rocky start that as we arrived, we got our room keys, we got settled in, we went down to the Ocean Resort and met up with East Coast Emissary PhD and Casino Combat's ace, Atlantic City Empress. They treated us to dinner at the VIP lounge and a wonderful show. Great of them to share their comps with us. We've been trying to make sure that we're also paying it forward and helping other people with our comps as we can. After the show, we wrapped up at the evening at a low stakes $10 blackjack table. It's what Dr. ECE calls the Gronk table because when they reopened this space or opened this space, Gronk spent some time hanging out there and playing cards at this very table. And it makes sense because Dr. ECE has a really clever automation where he inputs his results into his phone, and what gets calculated out is his next unit side and buy-in based on his previous results for the session or the day. Really brilliant stuff. And maybe I need to kind of ask him at some point to do a segment for us, to record a segment for us and explain his process in a bit better detail. But the result of all of this is that since Ocean often has $10 and $15 tables, Dr. ECE likes lower limit tables. He sometimes starts big and goes down, or starts small and goes up, and the lower limit tables give him options as his results calculate out what his next unit size and buy-in and wager should be. And as we're settling into this table, Mrs. TRG, ECE, and myself, in comes the Bostonian. Clearly a very, very intoxicated individual. It looks like he is going to be a sloppy mess. It really does. That's my first impression. I don't even know the guy's from Boston. I don't even know his name at this point, but we meet him. And he asks very politely if he can join us, and we say sure. And I'm expecting a train wreck, and he admits, I'm really drunk, but I promise I'll behave. And he proceeded to do just that. He was an excellent addition to our table. In fact, I started trying to order drinks a little faster so I could catch up with him. He was amazingly a fun guy to play with. He wasn't problematic. He was a very good player. He was betting several $100s a hand, making huge Trilux side bets. Usually people ignore those or bet, $3, $5. Maybe they go crazy. Nah, he's betting 50. He's betting 100. He's winning hundreds of dollars a hand on the side bets. It's a $10 table, so table max is like $300, $400. Maybe it was $500. I actually thought it was $3, but maybe it was $5. I don't recall the exact details, but he's often betting the table max. And he reassures us it's fine. He won all this money playing roulette earlier. It's the first vacation he's taken in a while. He's having a great time. He's having a blast. He's a great drunk, throwing money around blackjack player. Really solid. He's betting big. I'm playing with black chips, and I'm setting the stage here. I'm not bragging. Mrs. TRG is playing multiple green chips at a time. We're having a blast, and a retired teacher joins us at this $10 table, playing $10 a hand. And she could have been. The potential was here. Once again, it's wonderful this table was so great because it had all the potential to be just a hot mess, a garbage fire, but it wasn't. It was one of those tables with big energy and big laughs and big wins, but our retired teacher could have been a real downer for the table. She tried to be. She made her best effort. She worried and was nervous about the size of the bets the Bostonian was making. As a group, our bets in general scared her. She couldn't believe we got to go on comp flights and cruises. She didn't understand how that could be possible. As I said, she could have been a real downer, but she wasn't. We were winning enough and having a great enough time watching the Bostonian play, playing along with him, high-fiving, that we kind of just adopted her and calmed her down and told her it was fine, and we were all having a great time. Or we were having a great time until the pit boss comes up and says that after the shoe that we're playing, the table minimum was going to go from $10 to $15. And that starts it all back up again. Our retired teacher friend, admittedly, I found it amusing, not annoying, but she immediately starts having a fit. She's complaining that she shouldn't have to bet $10. She's already been here. She's retired. She doesn't have much money. She's just trying to have fun. And she was told she's have to go up to $15, and she is complaining and complaining. And we are all betting a combined total of well over $750 a hand when we include in the Bostonians' money. We really don't care about the table limit going up. None of us are betting $15 a hand. The pit boss doesn't care that she's complaining, and eventually he kind of told her that. He's like, ma'am, I got plenty of players here that are way above $15. The table needs to move up from 10 to 15. I'm not moving it to 25 or 50, which these folks could handle, but we're busy, the property's busy, the casino's busy. This needs to go up. And she's worrying and fretting and complaining about it every hand as we get closer and closer. And eventually, kind of between Doc and the Bostonian, Mrs. TRG and myself, we kind of just said, don't worry about it. If it gets to be a big deal, just put it out of your mind. If it gets to be a problem, one of us will just give you an extra $5 per hand. We don't care. It's not a big deal. You shouldn't worry about it. It'll be fine. And she was happy then. Actually, she went on a little winning streak, and by the time we got to the end of the shoe, she was able to fund her own play and stick around and have fun with us. As it always does with tables of that type, eventually the energy dies down, losing starts to happen. We said our goodbyes to ACE and Dr. ECE and went back to our end of the board. And this is about the squad. This is about what having a squad and being a squad and being able to get together with each other really is all about, because the next day, while Nakatomi Tony, Dr. ECE, ACE, and the Bostonian, now sober, had lunch in the VIP lounge because the Bostonian had played so big in one day that he can now get into the lounge. Mrs. TRG and I spent some time at the beach and enjoyed the ocean. I played some craps and some blackjack while she was getting ready to go out. And then we spent some time saying our goodbyes to the good doctor and Atlantic City Empress, and the five of us hung out. Nakatomi Tony was there. And then eventually the CEs had to head back home. They had some things they had to go do, some events that they had to go to. And NT and Mrs. TRG, the Radiant Goddess of Casino Combat, and myself went over to Borgata. We had an excellent winning craps session. We had an excellent dinner in the VIP lounge, before wrapping up with some craps together as a group back at the Tropicana, where we again had an excellent winning session, a good day of craps, a good night of blackjack the night before. The next day, Mrs. TRG and I planned around our promotions and maximized the value of our available free play and match bets with visits to Borgata and Hard Rock, and some more play at the Tropicana before heading home the following day. It was a great trip. Let me make one final observation, because I do want this to be as obvious as it can be. Unless you have a very large bankroll and can make very large bets, things like what I'm describing here, where you pop from property to property, as we have on 2 visits, and maximize all kinds of comps and gifts and value, don't just spring to life overnight. They don't just happen. If you have not listened to early episodes, if this is kind of you getting new to us, meeting me and finding out about this and all this, please go listen to some of those early episodes. Please get a sense of how this has progressed. This podcast has been a journey. We have shown you how to go through this process and what it takes to get to this point. Our ability to do trips like this were a process, a multi-year process. When this podcast started, we had relationships with Caesar that would get us comped stays and some free play there. We had an MGM relationship that was mostly occasional at best, more a matter of historical record than an active relationship. Over the last several years, we have built relationships not only with the 3 Caesars entertainment properties in Atlantic City, but with Ocean, Borgata, resorts, Hard Rock, and Bally's. We have comps, gifts, free money to gamble with at most of those places on various days. Most of those properties will comp us a room if we ask, with some restrictions. Most of those properties will feed us in some fashion with some restrictions. I want to put Golden Nugget on that list during our next visit to Atlantic City, when we go over there to jump on a cruise in a few weeks, because I want to go put some play there. We've reached a point where we can come in, we're going to stay at Tropicana at the beginning, we're going to do a little play at Ocean. I want to go visit Golden Nugget, we're going to have a car. I want to put some play there. I want to put some play there that generates some average daily theoretical and starts to generate some offers. But we've built all this slowly, a visit at a time, using our Caesars relationship as a foundation and then branching out, expanding into most of the market. If you don't have any relationship with a brand in Atlantic City, and the same thing would be true of Vegas, and the same thing would be true of the Gulf region, the Biloxi Gulf Coast region, it's gonna be a process. And that is one of my original reasons for doing these episodes and making this content, to show you how we built our casino-enhanced lifestyle one piece at a time, and how you can do it as well. All right, let's adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge for some sips and confession of sorts.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge, and our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drinks served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. 100% a money-back guarantee on that. As always, if you can, a wonderful thing about a well-done VIP lounge in the real world is a wonderful assortment of beverages, whether those are cocktails or mocktails. So if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a plate. Today I happen to have a wonderful, well-aged scotch from India that Inner Circle member, East Coast Emissary PhD, fourth to the ring, gifted to me recently. I'm going to enjoy that today. I did an online coaching session recently with a member of the squad, and I just got a follow-up email from them, and it included a question that I thought deserved a public, personal response. It's a response that involves some of what I consider to be personal growth, my own personal growth as a gambler. So I can imagine us sitting in a VIP lounge, enjoying a cocktail, and having this discussion. So I thought I'd wrap up today with this email and answer the question here in public for all of you. Here's what I was sent. Hey there, TRG. I hope life is treating you well. It's been a few weeks since I had the coaching session with you, and I thought it would be nice to give you a report. I've mostly been using your Always Be Grindin' wagering system, that's TRG2, and have had a chance to use it many times in the casino. Obviously, a few weeks is a very small sample size, but my impression so far is that I seem to be winning and losing the overall sessions at about the same rate as I always have with flat betting. The major difference, though, is that with the nature of the system, my wins are averaging larger than my losses, and I've managed to come out ahead with a nice little profit over the past month, and that's great. I've also found some of your ideas that have helped me out with comps. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, my favorite part about using your wagering system. Not only do they keep things very orderly, but the best part is they are fun. That's wonderful to hear, isn't it? I've always had a notion that it would be awesome to be able to make casinoing, and I love using the word casinoing, a side hustle and have high hopes that I will continue to be able to accomplish that. I have a question for your podcast that you may or may not have any interest in answering, but I'm just going to ask it for the heck of it. You mentioned numerous times that you don't particularly enjoy playing at the table with unskilled players. There was an episode where you mentioned a very unskilled player who you told the LeBron James metaphor. It's always been my understanding that if you don't know the composition of the deck, that any playing decisions made by another player has exactly an equal chance of hurting or helping you. Therefore, all the same at the end of the day. It doesn't make a difference to your results mathematically speaking. Is the reason that you don't enjoy being at the table with these players the fact that you don't like to see them make decisions that would lose them money in the long run? Or is it that you feel better that their mistakes might actually affect your outcomes? Or is it something else? Finally, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. I have found all the advice you've given through the coaching sessions and your podcast to be helpful and entertaining. I hope your podcast continues to be fruitful for you and you continue for a long time. All the best. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm thrilled, to hear improvements in his game after we did our coaching session. If you'd like to do a coaching session, we have them set up on the website to bill for $100 through PayPal. Happy to call it an hour, but I always just say whatever it takes within reason. If it takes 2 or 3 hours, I don't care. I want to cover the material you want to cover. So I'm happy to hear improved results. That's obviously what any coach wants to hear. And I'm thrilled to hear that he found the podcast both helpful and entertaining, because I do try to educate, entertain, and inform all at the same time. And his question regarding me and other players and the LeBron James metaphor that I used to throw around is just one that deserves an answer. He asked a great question, and he's correct. Long term, there is zero impact on my outcomes from what other players do. I think that this is one of the areas where my game has improved the most over the past 3 years. The James comment reflects a lack of professionalism and a certain emotional immaturity on my part, and a bit of arrogance that hasn't aged well in hindsight. That said, there is some accuracy in it as well. my original statements, my original thoughts. LeBron James doesn't play with amateurs because LeBron James is the one that gets hurt. Unskilled players do things that a high-level player wouldn't expect. They zig when they should zag, so to speak. They make non-basketball moves. In those moments, a good player can get injured. I saw similar things in playing with unskilled players. I'd have a $200 wager on the table. They would have a $15 wager. They would decide to double their 8 against a dealer's 7, and I'd get caught in the crossfire and be damaged significantly. It's difficult not to get angry in those situations, and anger isn't helpful to skilled play. Over the past 18 months, I've become much more detached. I've grown to find poor play something I can ignore, or actually more often, and I'm not sure this is a positive commentary, this might not age well. This might not. I'll grant you that. I've moved to ignoring it and or often being amused by it. I'm currently focused on not letting the amusement become its own arrogance. I consider myself a professional player. I try to work on that skill set every day. I'm better in this area now than I was 3 years ago, yet way better. So the question is very true and accurate. I'd kind of forgotten that I used to say that on a regular basis. Self-improvement through podcasting, in my case, perhaps. Absolutely. Self-improvement through podcasting. Please, tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host, but don't tip away your wins. Remember your casino wisdoms. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a ramblin' man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
Did you know that parents rank teaching financial literacy as the toughest life skill? That's where Greenlight comes in, the debit card and money app made for families. With Greenlight, you can send money quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and track spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn how to earn, save, and spend responsibly, while parents have peace of mind knowing smart money habits are being built. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by eBay. Buying parts for your car? You'll know that will it work feeling. But on eBay, buying parts is different. eBay's free returns means if it doesn't fit, or if it isn't what you expected, you just print a label, drop it off, and get your refund fast. No haggling, no stress, and at least 30 days to return any eligible item. Millions of parts, free returns. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has an advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts, and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette, or craps, you've gotta carry defense, cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias, cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement, it's the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. Whoa. can gamble out in Vegas. I mean, we're here to stay. Gambling's propping up the budgets of folks like me and you. You ask any casino manager, he'll say there's nothing he can do. From the pockets of the casino, right down to me and you. Me and you. It's a winning proposition and one you shouldn't refuse. It's just the core concepts, the casino combat blues. Casino combat blues.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.